Let's take a moment and talk about the difference between investing, trading, and gambling, because there is a big difference between the three, and it's important to know the differences. So if you think you're investing, but really what you're doing is trading or gambling, you really need to know the difference between that. Otherwise, you can kind of get in a lot of trouble as far as the returns or your success. So let's look at investing. So investing is really, think of that as long-term. It's a long-term play when you're talking about investing. It's not a short-term fix like gambling might be, or hoping to hit a home run or anything like that, in a very short term. It's a long-term play is how I would characterize investing, and you're really investing towards specific goals. You are putting in money to get a return on that money, to grow your money so you can reach a certain goal, whatever that might be, saving for college or university for a family member, or saving for your own retirement or financial independence are very common investing goals. So you're saving for a specific goal, and that you have a plan around it. And that's a big part of what this course is, and my Investing Success course is all about, kind of planning and how to have a plan around it and sticking to that plan and executing the plan. So investing, long-term play, specific goal, you have a plan, you rebalance as needed, so if your stocks really take off, or a certain part of your stock portfolio, maybe a large cap stocks or technology or something we're going to learn about later in the course takes off, well, then you can rebalance to kind of put your portfolio or everything that you own back in place, but it's still going towards that specific plan. You're still making these adjustments for the long term. And you can really succeed with investing with long-term basic principles that you can use over time. As we've seen and as we know about investing over time, it's all about time and time value of money, and let your money work and compound interest and all that working in your favor. So investing can be a little bit boring at times, but it's really all about that long-term play and saving towards those goals. Let's compare that to trading, because they're very close. They're closely related. Trading should be fun. I do some trading, and I'll talk about at the end, how I invest, how I trade, and even how I gamble. And trading is fun. It's more of that short-term play. Maybe it's something you're looking at, buying a particular individual stock, or something you might be trading or making more frequent moves. So if investing is more along the lines of, let's say, buy and hold, even some active part, but let's say more buy and hold for a long term. Trading would be something that'd be much more active. In fact, there's a concept called day trading you probably have heard of, where you're basically trading multiple times in a single day, trying to get that little bit of edge as you make these trades. So trading can take a lot of work. It might also need more money, as far as if you're a frequent trader and you want to have at least some diversification of 20 to 30 stocks that you might be trading in and out of frequently. So think about that as far as your investment of time, and concepts you'll learn in this course you can use in trading or investing, but think about your concept as far as the time that you have. And also you'll incur more transaction fees if you're doing lots of trading. So when we talk about fees, you'll learn about how each time you're buying and selling, you're incurring fees. So the more trading you're doing, the more actively buying and selling stocks each time that incurs a fee. So understand that your overall return maybe it looks great. Maybe you're a great trader, but all those fees eat away at it. And so many times a long-term investor will certainly outperform a very active trader in most cases. That's why you hear a lot about like index mutual funds, where there's very little trading going on within the fund at all, because it's basically buying the index. And we'll look at those, but that's the concept behind that. The other thing with trading for individuals is it can really run into more behavioral issues too, and things to be aware of. A lot of times people might be not willing to sell their losers, for example, because they have hope that it's going to come back, the stock is going to come back, and they ride it all the way down when they should have really just bit the bullet and sold it. So there's behavioral issues. Or maybe you're chasing after winners because you're chasing after somebody that your neighbor or your coworker said, hey, this is a great stock, go buy it, and you're getting in late and you're really buying high, and maybe you missed out on that, and now the price has gone down. Or so you're not buying high and you're not buying low and selling high, you're buying high and then selling low, which is, a loser's game, of course. So be aware of that with trading. Do you have the time with that? Do you have the behaviors to make it work for you? Understand to get more diversification. If you're doing lots of trading, you might need more money for trading individual stocks. And it's really all about succeeding by personal skill. So it's you thinking that you can beat the market, that you can beat others who do this maybe full time, immediately looking for those little edges. And I do a little bit of it too. So I'm very successful with that, but that's not my whole portfolio. I'm more of a long-term investor with some trading that I kind of do for fun. Remember that first part about fun. Now gambling, if you gamble at all, that really should all be about fun. I mean, if you're gambling to try to think you're going to beat the house or be real successful, especially over the long term, that's really hard to do. If you're very successful at that, don't even take this course. Go gamble and be successful gambler. Maybe take a gambling course. I don't know. But the idea is that, gambling is, if you do it, is meant to be fun. You want to try to limit your losses, but the idea it's fun. It's not investing and it's not trading. It is gambling. And one thing that, any, many people will tell you is when you gamble, kind of expect to lose. I mean, think about these big, massive casinos that you see out there in Las Vegas or Monte Carlo or wherever across the world, these big, hotels and casinos. Well, they're funded on gambling money, your money and my money, right? So they're making a lot of money. So if they're making a lot of money, who's not making a lot of money? Well, it's the individual gamblers. So I approach gambling like if I'm going to gamble for fun, bet on horses or play cards or whatever it might be, that there's an expectation to lose and I want to limit my loss. Really, if I go to the track, for example, once or twice a year, I might go, watch the horses race. It's fun. They're beautiful animals, but I only bet very small amounts, $5 US or less sometimes, and only money that's in my pocket. I don't bring credit cards or anything like that. I'm just willing to lose a small amount. It's more about having fun than trying to, make a big score, so to speak. So one question might be, is something like day trading where you're frequently trading, is that kind of gambling? I mean, even in gambling, you're trying to evaluate, let's say, a horse or evaluate something and then make a bet on that. As day trading gets a little bit more like gambling, might be one way to think of it, versus long-term investing where you put it and you invest your money and let it work for a long period of time. So that's something to think about when you're looking at investing versus trading versus, let's say, gambling. Now, for myself, to share, I'm all about investing. I'm a long-term investor. That's where I've had my success. And what I'm hoping you'll get out of this course is that long-term investing towards specific goals, rebalancing, making changes as you needed, and building a good diversified portfolio. Those are the ways to success proven over and over again. So I consider myself an investor, in particular a long-term investor. But I do trade too, as far as trading stocks. And you'll learn about, different ways you can apply these principles from financial ratios to whatever we're in the course here, so you can do trading as well. And I do that because, remember that part about fun. It's fun for me. It's interesting. It keeps me engaged in the market. It keeps me engaged in stocks. And I've had some success because I'm only looking at a narrow basket of stocks and I'm maybe actively more trading versus my long-term buy and hold type strategy. But it's really about fun, and I, make sure I watch my behavioral stuff, that I don't do something dumb like, buy high or sell low or something like that. Just be aware of that. But understand it's not like what I'm doing 100% of the time. I'm an investor with some trading. And as far as gambling, as I mentioned, I might bet on the horse every once in a while, but that's all for fun. Lose very small amounts of money. I think the most I've ever lost was like $20 US or $30 US, something like that. Keep it very small, and I've won some too, but it's all about going out with a family or friends and having fun. So take a step back as we go through the course and think about yourself. Am I an investor, am I a trader, or am I a gambler? And I'm telling you, for long-term success, err towards the investing side, you'll be glad you did.